Hi guys, Rob here again, and it's Friday, so it's time for another video. And this one's just another quick shout out about a drum masterclass that I'm having at the wonderful Drumattic in Frome, and it'll be hosted by Tristan Head, the proprietor of the store. As well as, this masterclass, you get a chance to go around his drum store, which is brilliant, and look at his different gear, all the stuff he's got. Like, some of it is vintage, some of it is new, some of it is borrowed, some of it's brown. It's all good. And yeah, what's happening? So on November the 18th, which is next Monday, this one coming, I'll be doing my second masterclass there, which on the poster, which you're probably looking at now, we've called it Adding Colour and Texture to Your Playing. So I came back from touring with Lorena in August, early August, late July, early August, and I went to visit Tristan to see how he was. And him and his girlfriend had come to see us play, a few years ago now. He really enjoyed the gig, and he enjoyed the fact I was playing, a bit of Drumattic and some shakers and triggering some stuff from the SPDS and stuff. And he said he really liked what I did. I posed the question, right, we're booking another masterclass, which is obviously coming up on Monday, as I said, the 18th of November, starts at 7 o'clock, tickets still available. I said, what would you like me to do it on? And he suggested that very thing. Some of the gigs that I do, Susie, Lorena, Little Men, I use different things, not just triggers and backing tracks, but loops and stuff in real time with the band and everything. How does that work? Hand percussion, you pick that up with a brush and a mallet, and then you're doing this. So would you do it on that? So that's what this masterclass is about. And I'm looking forward to it because I've never done one before. This is the first time that I've used this particular information in a masterclass. So I've had a few questions about this. People are on my email thread. Well, I've received another email yesterday, probably, just saying that there's only 5 tickets left. 5 tickets. So get in now if you want to come along. And so I just thought in this video on the Friday, I would just clarify what's going on. Because some people have said, I'm not into the sort of electronic side of things, so I don't think I'll be interested. And it really isn't about that. I'm not saying you suddenly convert to a roll-in kit or playing with triggers the whole time or playing with loops the whole time. This is very much aimed at, even if you just had the Roland one pad system, which is one pad, which takes about 8 samples, I think. You can dial up 8 or 10 samples, and you can only play them as single hits. You can't do an SPDS where you trigger loads of things at the same time. And so if you play even in a wedding band or a cover band, and you think, why would I do that in my cover band? Well, you might be playing a song that needs a clap sound, another snare sound, or there's a certain riff and you haven't got enough members in the band to play it that you could maybe trigger. And there's an inbuilt click on the SPDS, so you don't even have to have extra clicks. You just press that, hit the loop, and they go in time together. All these little things, and if you're in a 60s band and there's a shaker or a tambourine or a cowbell, through some of the Beatles songs or something, and you haven't got enough hands because we can't play the hi-hat and the snare and play the cowbell. Well, we could maybe lock the hat in a position of open hats, and then you could play the cowbell with your left foot. Things like this, or the tambourine or anything. So I'm going to be looking at many different things with the electronics that do that. It's not like turning into a drum and bass session or something, it's not about that. It's very much hands-on. How, if I had a bit of technology, how could I make it work for me? When I'm playing, I say even, but like, as I say, some people have written saying, I don't do that. I don't play the gigs you play. I don't need. It's like, well, what are you playing? You're playing in a cover band or whatever, or even on your own material. You do a demo with your band and there's a keyboard player because maybe the guitarist can play the keyboard, or maybe you. And you think, we can't do that live because there's not enough of us. Yes, you can now with this sort of system. So there'll be that. And also with the hand percussion, there'll be the Drumattic there. I'm not the world's greatest Drumattic player, but I can play some phrases. I'll show you how you could bring that sort of sound along with what you can do with your feet on the drum kit to make like an interesting sort of groove pattern that doesn't just have to be playing with your hands on the snare drum. But I'll also talk about that. Brushes, the texture of brushes, mallets, how you can do one in one hand, one in the other, shakers and things, tambourines. So it's not about one going out and buying a whole new technology rig, and learning all that. It's not about that. And it's not about suddenly having to become a greatest tabla player or Drumattic player or whatever. I'll show you some few things, a few moves that I know that are really good that you could take away and you could practice and have a go at. And you could even buy a tambourine the next day or a shaker, and by the next weekend you could be doing something in your band with these ideas, you know. So as I say, seems a silly thing to say or a bit obvious, but it's very hands-on. And I'm going to be handing some of this percussion out so we can have a play as well, you know, get some ideas together, and to see where I got these ideas from. Because I said it in a clip ages ago, I used to, you know, watch the Monkees, you know, with Davy Jones with the shakers and tambourines, and love that. And of course I was listening to the early Beatle albums, and that had loads of cowbells, shakers, tambourines all over it, and Beach Boys and all of that 60s stuff, and bongos, you know. So when I was growing up, that was something I wanted to put in with my drum set. Thank you, the radiators joining in as they're cooling down. So I brought all that into, as I was growing up, into the stuff that I did. So I was playing tambourines at the age of 9 and 10 and watching how they played it, listening to records and getting shakers and loads of maracas and all that kind of business, as well as getting on with my rudiments through my dad and everything, and listening to loads of records, his records, my mum records, and mine that I was buying, early 80s, new wave music, Duran Duran and all that kind of thing. And then as part of this, so I'll be going through that, I'll also be showing you why the electronic music came in for me, you know, like Gary Newman and Soul to Soul and Prince, Kraftwerk, you know, and the influence of Steve Reich, and how that was really important to me, you know, the minimalistic music, which I've spoken about on here a few times, and how that kind of influenced dance music, which then influenced the programming, which then influenced, you know, so you see how all this is going to go. So it's quite multifaceted, like a lot of my workshops. There's a thread, but it will span off into all these other things, which I think you're going to find really, really interesting. So I hope this has clarified it, because I've had a few emails and, as I say, questions about it. You're not going to go away not learning anything, let's put it that way. You might go away and think, oh, I'm going to buy a Roland S1 pad because I think I could use that and trigger that in my band. Or you might want to go away and buy some hand percussion and think, I could add that into what I'm doing. Because, yeah, the other thing is I'm going to be playing a few patterns where I'm playing different, you know, polyrhythms with the feet over the top, which will link into the electronic side of things as well, to show, you know, how, when I've talked about subdivisions, which I did quite a bit in my last one, how those understanding subdivisions are really important. Where, you know, let's just say, for instance, you've got your jam block on your left foot or your right foot if you're left-handed. So you take it away from the hi-hat, and then you're playing it, just playing like a crotchet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then in your right hand, you've got quavers 1 and 2, and you've got your 8 notes this side. And then on the snare drum, you could be playing a combination of semi-quavers over the top of that. So then you've got 3 multi-layers going on. And then you've still got your bass drum, which could add extra dimension to that. So I think I said in my last clip, this isn't going to be Thomas Lang multi-complex things, which are brilliant, and I can't do them, quite honestly. It's going to be more about how, you know, everyday drummers can add some of these things into their playing to add little extra dimensions and think more about maybe the different elements that are there. It's not necessarily for Latin players, this left foot ostinato or right foot ostinato. It's not really about just the Latin music. So you could put it in anywhere. You know, so I'm just raising the awareness, if you like, and there'll be a few patterns. I mean, I've got loads of them, but I was going through it yesterday and I can't go through every single connotation. But there's like 7/8 feet patterns. There's 4/3, 3/4. You know, there's all these other 6/4, loads of them, and I'm going to whittle them down. So what you see on Monday is what I play on the night. They're all prepared, but I don't know which one I'm going to play. There's also an inverted paradiddle one, which sounds really cool with other stuff on the top. So yeah, it's going to be great, and I'll show you some of the things that I do with Lorena and Susie. I've got permission to use the loops and the samples, so that's going to be it. So I wanted this video to really just clarify that in a nutshell. As I say, there's only 5 tickets left. You don't have to bring sticks or pad this time. It's very much a sit and watch, get involved, come up to the kit, see what's going on. I'll hand out some hand percussion. We'll talk about these subdivisions, get people playing different things, maybe to feel how important certain sides of like even just a 16th note, there's the 4 beats, but the E's and the R's and the ands and the ones, you know, all these things are really important. And what do they add to a groove? Loads is the answer. So yeah, it's going to be really good. Tickets are available in the shop. You should still be open today and tomorrow, but probably easier to get them online. I believe they're £15, I believe. And I think that's cheaper, half the price. And we've got a raffle. We're giving away there'll be sticks probably and some heads. And I've got a hard case, touring case, Symbol Safe that I'm putting in there, thanks to the lovely guys at Hardcase, Dave Eyre and the guys up there who are just fantastic, making the greatest touring cases in the world. And anyone who's on my social media will see that my drums are always in them and have been since 2007. And they're still going. How about that? So yeah, so that's good. So any questions, just fire them at me. But I'm really psyched, as you can tell, about this one. It's the first time I've run it. If it goes well, I may do it in other places. But really, this one's just really for Tristan, because he really wanted to share this stuff with the customers and stuff that come into his shop, because he thought it'd be really, really interesting. And I thought so too. And I hope you do. So if you've got your ticket, thank you. I know some of you have. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. And the ones that haven't and you're thinking about it, go on, go and do it. And I've also had some people who are coming to the Steve White clinic that I'm doing in December. Some guys have got tickets for both. Again, thank you. Some people have just bought tickets for this one or the Steve White one. I will just say that the stuff I'm doing with the Steve White on the Steve White clinic won't be the same as this one. So anyone thinking, oh, I'll just wait till he does it in Yeovil, that's not going to happen, unfortunately, because me and Stevie get to sit down and talk about what we are doing on the menu for you guys. So I very much doubt it'll be this material. So if you're sat at home thinking, oh, I'll wait till he does it down there, it's not going to be the same thing. So if any of this stuff I've talked about and rambled on about in this video tickles your fancy, then you should probably just come to the Drumattic one, because I may not do this again for a little while. Okay, so anyway, you've been warned. So have a great Friday, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking, subscribing, share. If you know a drummer that might want to come to this, who's local to this area, because Frome in the southwest, and you know you live up in Leeds or something and you can't make it. If you know a musician down here that you think would dig it, then let them know. Pass it on, because there's only 5 tickets left, and I want to see all 5, all of them gone, which would be brilliant. So have a cracking weekend. I'll stop rambling. Have a good weekend. See you on Monday at the clinic, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.